Number 1, glaciers and ice sheets shape the land surface. For this one, there's lots of words, so we're going to break it down as we go. So glaciers and ice sheets are going to change the shape of the land surface, the earth. They erode. We know erosion takes it, moves it. They move rocks as the ice moves slowly across the land, and then the eroded or moved sediments, which means little rocks, are deposited, dropped off, in other places. Which of the following best describes the interaction described in the above scenario? When we get to our answer choices, and we know we're talking about an interaction, so this is going to be things working together. When we get to our answer choices, we see that we're talking about the spheres. So let's go through the questions and see what spheres we find. First, we see glaciers and ice sheets. This, if it hit me in the face, I would want to cryosphere. Part of the cryosphere. Shape the land surface, Earth. So I'm already thinking geosphere, but let's keep going. They erode rocks. That is for sure the geosphere. As the ice moves slowly across the land, and then the eroded sediments, little rocks, geosphere again, cryosphere again with that ice, okay? This is cryosphere and geosphere. So C is the correct answer. It never talks about liquid water, so hydrosphere cannot be correct. It never talks about anything in the air. Atmosphere is not here. And it never talks about a living thing, so biospheres cannot be the answer either. Number 2, the diagram above, not to the left, shows the interaction between Earth's spheres. Which of the following best represents the sphere X? So I'll look at where my X is. That's right here next to the cloud, and I know clouds are a part of the atmosphere. Number 3, the atmosphere that surrounds the Earth is divided into 5 layers. What property best distinguishes the layers from each other? I need to know that distinguishes means tells how they are different, okay? So what's the best way to show that the layers are different from each other? A says the percentage of precipitation. Precipitation is rain. I know rain and weather only happens in the lowest layer, the troposphere. Everything above that, all the here's my Earth, ready? All the clouds are in my troposphere. So can there be weather in any of these? No. Is that the best way to show the differences? Probably not, because there's only precipitation in one of them. B says changes in the state of matter. So state of matter is solid, liquid, gas. When I look at my 5 layers, do they change from solid to liquid to gas? No, they are all gas. So B is definitely wrong. C says increasing air pressure. I know that air pressure does not just increase as I go up, okay? It increases as I go up in the troposphere, but it actually decreases as I go with it in the next level, then increases again, then decreases, then increases again. So that one is wrong as well. D is our correct answer because, just like I said before with air pressure, temperature has this way of changing back and forth. So it is the best way to show the differences. Definitely better than A, because A, there's only precipitation in one layer. So that would be like 1 versus 4. That's not a good way to show difference. Versus temperature, I know that it gets colder as I go up in the troposphere, and then hotter as I go up in the stratosphere, and then colder as I go up in the mesosphere, and then hotter as I go up in the thermosphere, and colder again as I go up in the exosphere. 4, a tsunami is caused by the movement of tectonic plates on the ocean floor. The resulting wave of water can destroy cities near the coast. What 2 spheres interact to form the tsunami? I'm going to box my question, underline that key word, Interact means working together. So what is working together to form the tsunami? I see this key word here, that it is caused by the movement of tectonic plates on the ocean floor. I know ocean is hydrosphere. I know tectonic plates are big pieces of land, part of the geosphere. Okay, it says the resulting wave of water can destroy cities nearby. Don't get confused, because cities are part of the biosphere, but is that what causes it? No. People don't cause tsunamis. It's tectonic plates on the ocean floor, so it is geosphere and hydrosphere. C is the correct answer there. Number 5, ozone, like frozone, is a form of oxygen that has 3 atoms in each molecule instead of 2 atoms. The ozone layer protects living things. Which of the following best describes how the ozone layer protects living things? So ozone, like frozone, is our superhero of the atmosphere. How does it protect living things? Well, if this is my Earth, it's found in the stratosphere, which is the second layer. I have my ozone layer. And just like Frozone in The Incredibles, he is our protector, okay? The sun has some super harmful radiation. The sun keeps us alive, but it also has some super harmful radiation that can damage our DNA. And a lot of those ultraviolet waves are caught by the ozone layer and never make their way to the Earth. That is why the ozone layer is so important. A says the ozone layer does not allow meteorites to hit Earth's surface. Well, that's not true, because I know that meteorites still do hit Earth's surface. B says 10% of oxygen-producing organisms live in the ozone layer. Well, it would be awesome to see rats and people living inside the ozone layer, but does anything live in the ozone layer way up in the stratosphere? No. C, without this protective barrier in place, all the sun's radiation would reach Earth. That is a great answer. And D, this protective barrier prevents the frigid air found in space from cooling the planet. That is not the purpose of the ozone layer. The correct answer is C. Number 6, water in a lake seeps into a cliff wall behind the dam, becoming groundwater, which then evaporates into the air. Which 2 spheres are interacting in this scenario? So I see this one being a little bit trickier for us, because when we identify the spheres, I see water in the lake, that's hydro, seeps into a cliff wall behind the dam, so this cliff may be geosphere, becoming groundwater that evaporates into the air, that is atmosphere. So I see 3. We only want an answer choice of 2. Let's see if we can work it out. A says geosphere, good. Cryosphere, there is no cryosphere here. A is wrong. B says hydro and atmosphere. We have both of those, so that's a good answer. C says biosphere and geosphere. We don't have any biosphere here. Can't be C. And for the same reason, it can't be D. There's no biosphere. So B is your correct answer. Number 7, our weather in the United States can range from sunny and warm in the summer to snowy and cold in the winter. What layer of the atmosphere does weather occur? It only makes sense that weather occurs in the lowest layer, because we can see weather occurring. We can see the clouds above us, okay? Weather happens in the troposphere, which is the one that's the closest to us. Number 8, humans harness energy from the water by having it spin turbines to produce electricity. Which 2 spheres are interacting in this scenario? So let's identify some spheres. First, we have humans. Humans are a part of the biosphere. Harness energy from the water. That's part of the hydrosphere again, by having it spin turbines to produce electricity. That again is pointing back to the biosphere. So this one is definitely A. It doesn't say anything about the earth or ice or the air. So B, C, and D have to be wrong. Number 9, jet planes fly near the top of the troposphere. I know this is the layer closest to me. troposphere. We've got jets high up here. At this altitude, is it more important to heat or cool the passenger area of the plane? So I know that it is hot near the surface of the Earth because we are getting radiation from the sun on the surface of the Earth. And then that heat floats up, and as it floats up, it cools down. So it is cooler at the top of the atmosphere. That's why if you go up on a mountain, it's going to be cooler than if you were on the ground at sea level. Okay? So it is cooler as you go up. That being said, is it going to be more important to heat or cool the passenger area of the plane? If it's cool, it's cold is a better word, up here high in the atmosphere, then it's going to be more important to heat. So more important to heat, it's either going to be C or D. C says heat because the temperature is cold at this height. That's a good answer. D says heat because the water vapor causes precipitation. That is not true. C is our answer. We do not want to cool it. And number 10, in the morning over a cold mountain lake, a light fog will form. What two spheres are interacting for the fog to form? Let's identify spheres. It says in the morning over a cold mountain lake, even though it's cold, it's still liquid. This is the hydrosphere. A light fog will form. Fog are clouds, which are a part of the atmosphere. So hydrosphere and atmosphere is our answer. There is no ice, so no cryosphere, no rocks, so no geosphere, and no living things, so no biosphere.